Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What's up, wrestling card collectors? Worlds Collide back again, and once again, it's another episode of This Is Your Card.
These episodes seem to be so fun for people.
They're fun for us. Like I like to go back and look at some of the talent and be like, you know, what do I think their cards are going to do? What's my favorite cards? And sometimes I find myself going back and be like, maybe I should buy some of their cards after we talked about this. Like, just because it's cool. Like, I just enjoy talking about them.
Yeah, I'm nothing here has inspired me to go out and buy any cards. Really, it really isn't. I as we've talked before in the past, I'm just really learning how to stay in my lane and trying to control myself from having to go outside. And I do dabble every once in a while, show support, this, that, and the other. But I gotta kind of maintain. I just can't. It's like being a junkie, man. I can't. It is. I can't get myself back in there again and have that kind of weekly habit.
Yeah, that's an accurate statement. And again, you know, we're here for the education, the entertainment, you know, just putting it all out there. So just because we're talking about something like we're, you know, as we get into this, we're going to talk about the cards we would invest in and what we see Batista cards future. Hey, we just spoiled it. You saw the title.
Spoiled it.
It's Batista.
Oh my God. They were doing Batista today. So which, by the way, I think we've asked before in previous episodes on these. This is your card. I want to hear from people. It's like that. Who should we cover on our next episode? I want to hear who should we cover, Slayo, because you know we keep coming with our own ideas. This all started because of Beefcake. Thanks, Brutus. And it just kind of grew from there.
Wait, is it Beefcake or was it actually Booty Man or was
Could be Zodiac?
Zodiac, yeah. Who knows? The Disciple, my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, if you have a request, reach out. It doesn't matter how many we'll get. We'll just start stacking them up, putting them in our notes, and we'll get to them as we can. So, kicking it off with Batista. According to Trading Card Database, approximately 556 cards, which, again, seems like kind of a low number for a guy like this. But, you know, we talked about some guys in the past that have had thousands. And here we are, 556. And that's, as you're going to see some of the stuff we talk about, that's also counting his non-sports cards. So non-wrestling cards.
And these numbers we always give, these were all, you know, spit out to us by Trading Card Database.
Yes, and
an excellent resource for
estimate ballparks.
And, you know, there's a lot of, as I always say, bootleg versions out there and a lot of like international stuff that particular database doesn't keep track of, apparently, obviously. But, you know, so this is a roundabout ballpark.
They're nothing like WTC, who has everything.
Nah, we're trying to. Yeah, but when it comes to wrestling cards, I mean, we're trying. We really are. So, yes, you're right. I agree with you.
Thank you. Oh, I can say that because I use it all the time and I'm always seeing what you guys are adding. So I'm like, oh, yeah, Trading Card Database doesn't have that. So
every week it's happening.
Moving on to the rookie card. This is a pretty self-explanatory, easy answer for both of us.
Is.
2002 Flair Royal Rumble, card number 67. Not much else needs to be said about this one. I do find it interesting that it says like
that great class of rookie class.
Do you like? I think this set, it's not like the All-Stars, and if you want to put it into the like category of like the 86 Flair basketball, it's not like those sets where it's a pivotal set that means something in the hobby, but it's also just loaded. Like this is a good set, but it's those 4 rookies that are really carrying that whole set, because when you start going through the rest of the set, like, oh yeah, Tommy Dreamer, Undertaker, Big Show, like these are the cool cards, cool names. Sure. I like them, but it's not like just loaded with stuff like those other 2 sets. But I mean, it's undoubtedly, this is the rookie card to own. People love it. It's almost, I think Batista's card in this set, the specific one we're talking about, out of the 4 seems to be the lowest ranked one. Mm-hmm. But it also seems like people are wanting all 4. They can't just have one. They want all 4 because it's a pivotal class. And I mean, if you need another example of this, go on the, I guess, Peacock now, WWE Network, watch the Ruthless Aggression kind of documentaries they did where they covered where all of these guys were in OVW at the same time. And they, you know, they kind of show their rise to fame from OVW to essentially Hall of Famers, what they are now, even though some of them technically aren't in the Hall of Fame. But again, very important card. I believe it still says Deacon Batista on it, which, because I was checking my PSA order because I have one of each of the 4 at PSA right now. And I was like, oh yeah, Deacon Batista. I remember when he did that kind of gimmick for a little bit. So,
and the 4 we're speaking of from this set,
yes.
you're looking at it's Batista, Randy Orton, John Cena, and Brock Lesnar. Those 4 cards are, like you said, driving this set. I do a monthly recap with Paul from the Wrestling Card Price Guide. And it's the set that we've had. We've been monitoring it for the last 10 months now, and it's been consistently sitting as a set because of this card, of these 4 cards. It's been sitting at approximately $200 a set on average. It hasn't really wavered much. It's gone up to maybe 210, as low as like 180 something, but it sits around that $200 average price now for the last almost year that we've been monitoring this stuff. So it's a great class of people out there. And it pains me to know that I sat on dozens of these sets and I couldn't get rid of them I had to wholesale them out to a local non-sport guy for $7 a set back in the day just to get rid of them.
And it's and we've gone over that. You can't look in the past, but it is interesting to kind of do a case study about what things used to be. And, you know, $200, that's a pretty good number. Some people might say, oh, well, that's not worth my time. But considering it's a base set that has 4 cards basically carrying the whole set, I think $200 for a raw set is a pretty good price.
It's a really good set to begin with anyways.
Yes.
It's because of those 4 cards that drive the value up. 2, people who are looking to invest and want to get graded, it's a very, very condition sensitive card set because of the thickness of those cards and the embossing.
Chipping on the sides is bad.
The chipping is really oftentimes it's the case. So collectors want to go after that stuff. But overall, for the rest of the card set, it's still a really cool looking card set with some great designs and some good stuff. I even kind of liked the memorabilia cards that came with it, even though it was a base card with the memorabilia on it, but I still like that.
I was actually getting ready to ask you. I've actually had this question, so maybe this will help other collectors. So Tony Vella wants to buy the Batista rookie card. Hypothetically, like, would you go after, and you could, I just said Batista, but you could put anybody in this. Like the Brock Lesnar one is the one that stands out for me. I get that a lot. Do you buy the base Brock Lesnar or do you buy the base relic in the same set? If you're chasing the rookie card, do you have a preference on what do you go with the flagship base or do you go for the one that's a little bit harder to find? What would you personally do?
Me personally, I kind of go for the old school mentality that it's got to be a base set card. Can't be an insert of any kind. That's sort of like the old school Beckett definition of what rookie card's supposed to be at. I'm kind of that mindset. I'd be happy with either one, but do you
think the masses would kind of lean that way too?
I think most of them probably would. I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe it's a nice poll that I can put up on WTC to ask people what they would think about that kind of stuff. But I don't know. You could flip a quarter. I wouldn't care. I just one or the other. Me personally, I would probably just go say I want the base card. The memorabilia card, that would be cool too. But maybe I go after both. I want to have them complement each other. Yeah. Then I'm covered.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that.
And then I go with card number 77 or whatever he's on. It's called also known as. It's a subset of the base set that Brock Lesnar's on. I would go after that as well too.
Yeah, that's a great one. All right, cards to invest in. Do you want me to just turn it over to you since I think you had that last card selected?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just stick with the Royal Rumble set. It's a card to invest in. I'm sticking, by the way, because I look at the show notes we have here, and you're across the board and everything that has nothing to do with wrestling. You're talking about the guy himself, and this is kind of where you and I would probably disagree on this like that, which is great. It's fine. If I'm sticking strictly as a wrestling fan of Batista, I'm only going after wrestling cards of Batista. I don't want his movie career. I don't want any of that kind of stuff at all. I want his wrestling card. But I can totally see where you're going to go with cards to invest in. And I would be okay with that.
One thing that I've got to tie what you just said in with our previous discussion is one awesome thing about this card is that it is what it is. There's no parallels. there's no, like, I guess unless you want to count the, you know, potential relic card or subsets, but like, hey, it's Batista, card number 67. That's what you get. It's just, it's like, I mean, not the same card, but it's like the 86 Fleer Jordan.
Yep.
That's the only one that's in that set. That's it. So really easy. So yeah, you want to get on to some talk. I actually have good picture reference for those of you who are watching the video versions, which are, you know, way down the road after the audio versions come out.
Oh, you're gonna miss out. It's a pretty card. It's so
it
is.
Pretty. 2017 Upper Deck Precious Metal Gems Drax.
It's such a great looking card.
The first thing I saw this is like, oh man, this matches my Hogan PMG. Wait a minute, it's another wrestler that has another PMG, and yes, it is his character, but it's a wrestler. These unfortunately are not numbered, but they don't pop up very much. So I had to get the basic. I swept the floor of all the ones that were under $100 at the time on eBay at the time of recording.
Do you know what the on those what the seating is on those in boxes packs?
No, I've just seen them listed individually. I don't actually know anything about the products because gotcha. I didn't care a lot about the other characters, but I was like, man, Batista, like this is a really cool looking card. And the other cards that I have mentioned are the 2007 Rittenhouse autos, or I mean the 007, sorry, 007 movie Rittenhouse autos, and the Guardians of the Galaxy auto he has in there, which going back, like to my knowledge, these are the only two ways to get Batista autographs. Do you know of any? I've never seen any wrestling cards products pack, like certified pack pullable autos in any product ever.
Yeah, I don't think he has any. I'm not certain. I don't think he has any. I'm trying to think from those early like Topps Heritage days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know Angle's in one and Cena. And there's a lot of other people, but I don't think Batista was on any of those.
That's kind of what I thought, and that's my play on all three of these types of cards that were non-wrestling were, okay, Precious Metal Gems has a name. People can attach it to that. Okay, sure. I want a Batista autograph. Okay, well, you got to go to these kind of products to get it. And even the autographs look like, especially the 007, like you look at that and you're like, okay, yeah, it's Dave Batista. It looks a little bit more like his traditional wrestling look than Drax does. But the other thing is, I'd like to get your opinion on this. I've actually talked to more people who know Batista from Guardians of the Galaxy than they do wrestling.
It says probably true. Probably true.
And like, I personally enjoyed him more as Drax and in the 007 movie than I did as a wrestler. Now, that being said, I've kind of gone back and kind of at the time he was wrestling, I was like, oh boy, here comes big old meathead again. Yeah. And then I've gone back and I'm like, okay, I like have more respect for his career after the fact that I've gone back and watched. But
let me say, you know what? There is a Batista autograph card associated to wrestling.
Oh, let's hear it. Breaking news.
WWE Raw deal. He signed from those backstage autograph cards.
Oh, okay. Yep. That's not something I was even had on my radar.
He did. Matter of fact, I can't share with you right now because I can't share my screen. But yes, he did. If you go to velacards.com and check out the tournament card prizes like that, there is an image up there of Batista signing. It's an authentic card as issued by Comic Images.
Man, talk about hard to find. The fact that we can't even come up with that, let alone try to actually go search one out. But if you're listening and you like Batista, maybe that's what you want to do. Go search out that card. So that was just kind of the cards we would invest in. There's obviously some others, like, I mean, come on, look at like the gold refractors going nuts. If you like shiny stuff and you like Batista, you could go after it. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but even mine are a little bit off the beaten path, but that's kind of what I do. I also have to side with Tony, go with that 2002 Fleer Royal Rumble. You can't beat it.
Really can't.
All right. Favorite card. Go ahead.
Me, I like, you already mentioned it before from the Guardian of the Galaxy cards like that. There's an Avengers Infinity War autograph card from him.
Yep. And mine was the PMG. So here we are talking about the same two cards again, essentially.
Yeah.
What was it about the card that, is there anything specifically that stood out for you on that?
No, it's a cool, that Marvel set for that movie. It was pretty good. First off, I thought it was kind of cool because they have many of the cast members signed for that, which is really impossible and hard to do. You would think, oh yeah, if anybody, they're going to get, probably Batista. It's like that. I mean, it's not, it's not any of the other big stars in that
Sure.
movie. But to me, I think he's a big star, so I don't give a shit. But it's just it's a cool design. It's got his character on it, so yeah, which is really nice. It's just a typical nice looking autograph card, and it's again one of those rare cards out there anyways when it comes to what's available for Batista autograph wise. You know, what I don't like about it, it's signed as Dave Batista, and the Batista name is spelt like his real name, not the character Batista from WWE. But it's still a cool looking card. So it's like, I love that precious metal gem you have. That's just a beautiful card.
I agree with you. There does seem to be a little bit of disconnect between Batista and the actor, as opposed to, it seems like The Rock and Dwayne Johnson people see as the same person.
Which is a testament to Batista for reinventing himself out there as an actor.
100%. Yeah. And again, like I said, the fact that people may know Batista more from his movies than they do wrestling, which is kind of like what The Rock has done now. Like,
oh, you mean that guy from? I mean Drax? You mean that guy?
Yeah.
No, I mean the former world champion.
Exactly. Member of Evolution.
Man, that's right.
That was an awesome stable.
Who almost wasn't that member for a while.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. Again, I can't talk about it enough. Like, if you don't remember every little thing about the Ruthless Aggression era, go back and watch the documentaries on Peacock. They're really good. So moving over to the worst card, I have a really good pick, but I'll let you go first.
I picked, for whatever reason at the time, it was the 2021 WWE Topps card number 192 and the 2012 WWE Heritage number 44. Both of those are just such, to me, they're just bleh images. It's not a knock or to the set designs as a whole. It's just the images they picked for him they're god awful. Yeah. Just god awful. Matter of fact, you know what? A lot of his cards are actually kind of god awful.
This is again, this PMG is one of the coolest images I've ever seen of him.
It's just he's in character for the character like that. It's just a big badass dude, just a simple.
That's what I want pose, with my wrestling cards.
But the pose is complemented by that beautiful design around it. That's why
true.
It's just a cool. It makes it pop. It gives it a 3D type of feel to it. It looks like it's popping. That card is beautiful that you have it, but his wrestling cards for some reason are just kind of like bleh.
Yeah. And again, mine has to do with image, and I'll give a little bit of background on it. 2018 Topps Undisputed 30 Years of Survivor Series. This is like a subset, if you will, in this set, and there's actually some cool cards. Like, there's some decent images. I actually like the card design. You can get these in numbered and parallels and all those fun things. But the thing with this image is he's got his ribs taped up. He looks like he just won. And I'm like, okay, like, again, going back to the PMG, I want my big tough looking guy, or I want my Ricky Morton posing cheesy baby face. I don't want the sympathetic baby face that just got beat up and he's all taped up.
Is he like holding his hand up or something like that, and then like holding his ribs or something like that?
Something like yeah.
Like, I won, but I'm beat up.
Exactly. And like to flip it around, a little bit off topic. When I would go to the grocery store as a kid and I'd see the wrestling magazines that had the guys just covered in blood, like, you could even give me that, and that would be a cool card as opposed to taped up ribs, like you just now said. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you're really hurt there, Batista.
I want to, like, every time I see that card now, I'm going to want to add that commentary onto it.
There you go.
So yeah, again, common theme with rookie cards, common theme with investment, and common theme with the worst card is because of bad imaging, which we've talked about on previous shows about how imaging really, you could have the coolest, rarest card. I guess the exception would be like the Hogan PMG, because I know there's a lot of people that do not like that image, but they love the card itself. But for the most part, the images can sell the cards. I mean, look at the Wrestling All-Star set. There is nothing to those things, just basic designs, but the images just pop for people.
Nothing flashy about these cards, folks. Nothing flashy about these cards at all. I mean, they're just, it's like a who's who of mugshots.
Yep. Mug shots. That's clever. All right. Cardwood Create. This is always one of my favorite ones. My all-time favorite one so far has been the pancake, the Big E actual pancake relic, if you could not get it to mold.
That'd be great. It's got some sort of weird preservative in there that just keeps it from like ever molding. Like, I actually don't like that. I want to see it mold. That shows I've held it for a long time.
Yep.
I've had this when it was a little pancake, and now look at it.
Funny story. I actually bought a collection more recently, and it had a Xavier Woods auto relic in it. And the relic was a piece of the T-shirt that actually had pictures of pancakes on it. So
that's funny.
It's already been traded off to someone, but
I actually, for this particular segment, I'm usually thinking about these and come up with something pretty quick. I actually didn't come up with anything, pre-show for notes like that. So I'm going to kind of fly off the cuff here. It's like that about it. And I just,
maybe we can brainstorm about it. What do you like?
Well, let's hear what you got for a creating card.
Okay. When I was going through thinking, because we've kind of got the format down on these, and we know what we're doing. So when I got to the create a card, immediately, like instantly, I thought of one of the last matches that Batista was in that really struck a chord with me, and that was a Triple H. And there's a scene in the match. Was it WrestleMania 35? Yeah, WrestleMania 35. I believe
so, yeah.
There's an overhead camera view. Triple H has got the chair over the top of Batista, and he's got pliers, and he's pulling the nose ring out of Batista's nose. And I was just like, oh, like I was cringing. I know it's a work, but I was standing there like, oh my gosh. So immediately my thought was, we were talking about Batista getting beat up. We don't have to necessarily use the image of like the camera that was viewing him and his face looking in terror, but put a cool image on there. And then I would want a quad relic. So 4 different pieces of a relic. You could, put a cool design, however you wanted to do that. There's different ways, but a piece of the pliers, a piece of the chair, a piece of the nose ring, and a piece of the ring skirt from that match. I think that would be fantastic.
This is the ultimate create your own card segment. Every time we do this, man, it's like we take it and we just we blow it way out of proportion.
Yeah, and
which is fun.
It goes back to what I say about relic cards, like, it's just another piece of the boring canvas. Yeah, but if you look at the card and it says it's from this event, there's a lot of collectors that's going to ring home with. And this is, if I can think up a card that quick, that means I have a connection to it somehow. Even though Batista's not my favorite wrestler, I'd go out and buy this in a heartbeat if something like this came out, because I remember watching it live as it was happening and the image of just all of it put together. And,
well, as you just said, I made it very clear before this little segment here, I didn't have any, our show notes, don't show anything under my section about a card that I would want to create, but I immediately had an image in my head of what I want.
All right, let's go.
So, I want to even take it all the way back to his Evolution days. I want a 4 swatch Evolution of all their suits.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. How did they never make that?
It doesn't have to be autographed. I would just like that, because the second I thought of this, I thought about the McMahon one you just got recently, where it just like, it just has a swatch, like a long strip of that. I was originally going to say something simple and stupid, like, God, I'd like to see a Batista fistograph. That'd be kind of cool. But, that's still kind of cool. But yeah. if I'm going to make my own, I'd love to have an Evolution one, piece of, like, because they're all out there in suits. Just like to have, like, maybe make it like, what do you call it, a matchbook one.
Oh, the book.
We keep going to that all the time. But just on one side, all 4 guys walking down to the ring on the entrance ramp, that Evelyn, I could hear the song in my head.
Yep. I
see them walking, and the other side says strip, 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 strip. There's 4 strips, one from each of their suits.
So cool. Oh, and speaking of that, I'll get your opinion on this before we move on to kind of the last part that we always do here. I've seen a lot of people, I showed that I've shown the Rock cards, the Superstar swatches from Leaf.
Yep.
And I've showed the one that has Vince McMahon, Piper, and Bobby Heenan on it. I love those cards. I got them for a steal, in my opinion, and I don't plan on selling them anytime soon. That being said, when I've posted them, I've gotten some people, I wouldn't call it backlash, but maybe questions like, why would you buy a card that doesn't have an image or a likeness on it? And why would you buy a card that, sure, it says it's confirmed worn by this player, but it's not from a specific event? What is kind of your response to that from a collecting standpoint? Because I still think there's a lot of people out there who don't really understand that this is like more of a memorabilia play than it is an actual card play.
Well, those particular cards you're talking about themselves are not only just a memorabilia play for yourselves like that, but there's also legal issues and licensing issues when it comes to that kind of stuff. There's a reason why they can't have their images on it, because they don't own those licensing rights for WWE. That's how Leaf gets around, and any other company gets around from doing these kinds of things. But I personally think they're kind of cool, because until the licensing, which now is going to be Panini, puts out something that's going to be like, here's a piece of Vince McMahon's, tie that was worn at this particular event or whatever it may be, even not even labeling the event, but just to have a picture because they have the license and all that.
Mm-hmm.
These are the closest you're going to get, man, when it comes to some kind of event worn material from some of these names. And I think they're cool. I think they're cool. If you want to be a nitpicker about it and say, well, it's not a real wrestling card. There's no image. I mean, different strokes for different folks. I don't get the allure of collecting Pokemon stuff. I don't care. I mean, it's just not my cup of tea, but I get it.
Yeah, my whole idea is, when's the last time you saw a WWE produced Vince McMahon relic? Not a mat, but like a T-shirt or a tie. I can't remember any ever.
There are, as far as I know, there aren't any other than that ring mat, which also came from the Royal Rumble set, by the way.
Yeah. So in that case, like, you have one option and it's a legitimate option. It's not some guy off the street selling you a suit. And then that goes into my other part that I've talked about before. I love memorabilia, and sure, I might be able to put, one or two pieces up in a nice display. But if I want a lot of cool stuff, like, I don't want this stuff taking up everything in my house. And if you're going to get into memorabilia or even action figures and you want to be like hardcore about it, like, you might as well get a storage unit. I mean, all about that with your the Impel printing press that you've got. But,
well, I mean, most of that it's taken up from the machine itself. But
yeah, that's true. that and the sealed boxes.
The sealed box. Well, I just got all.
Oh, maybe they were resealed, and maybe did the guy that actually put the G.I. Joe boxes in that fake Pokemon case, did he contact you about putting maybe Impel in there first?
No comment, sir.
All right. Well, I tried to get the news out, but all right. Future of Batista cards. What do you think?
I personally did. And again, God, I say this. We say this all the time because it's just throughout the entire hobby itself. It's always an issue. It's always the case. It's undervalued people. It's like that. And for what he's done for himself outside of wrestling, arguably the number 2 biggest box office draw person that's come from pro wrestling.
Not close. It's not close.
Yeah, not close. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I'm just saying it to protect myself because I don't know about anybody else. But, I mean.
Well, I mean, people are like, whoa, Hulk Hogan was in movies.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, so was Piper,
Yeah, but Batista's got him beat.
Yeah, I just think that, the guy's really done a lot of hard work and carved himself a niche in the pop culture, stuff like that. So I think long-term value, he can go up. I think he can go up. He's not going to, let's all be honest. Is it going to be the Rock level type of stuff? Probably not. I mean, it's safe from a collectible standpoint, probably not. But he's pop culture. He's part of pop culture. The fact that he took on this particular role in the Marvel universe just catapulted him in the pop culture like you couldn't believe. And then going off and doing things for being in the part of the James Bond franchise, not even having his character killed off so he can potentially come back again.
Right.
And then getting into now the zombie franchises now for the Netflix stuff. It's like, I mean, he's just kind of dabbled in all these different types of pop culture genres that just kind of keep him in people's eyes and their minds. And so from a trading card standpoint, whether it's going to be a wrestling side or a non-wrestling side, he's just going to be part of pop culture. And he's unfortunately the number 4 guy in that, 4 guys in that Royal Rumble set. But I don't know. I kind of put Randy
Still
Orton.
Part of it.
For me, I put Randy Orton number 4 for me. I put Batista above him, but that's just me personally. I mean, no disrespect to any of those guys in that set, but from a collectability standpoint, I don't know. He's just more pop culture to me. So he stands to last the test of time.
I think a good question here, and you're going to be the one to hopefully, well, I know you'll have more knowledge than me. Talk a little bit about non-sport collectors. That's something I don't know that we've ever talked about. Everybody's got their different ways of collecting. How do you think non-sport collectors would view Batista cards as opposed to wrestling cards? And how do they collect? Do they, is it sets? Is it autos, parallels? Talk about a little bit about that.
We can do a whole episode just talking about non-sport cards if you ever wanted to. I mean, I'd be happy to talk about that.
We'll have to do that sometime.
but I think they're non-sport card collectors are just like any other card collector. I think there's not like they do things any different. You know, there are set collectors or autograph collectors. There's chase collectors. There's not a whole lot of parallels to be going off in non-sport stuff. They don't do a whole lot of parallels. So you're not going to go out and find a base Buffy the Vampire set and then all of a sudden a parallel. There's no. So
it's mainly base sets,
it's
inserts, or autos.
All those Buffy sets when they came out were all done by Inkworks. It was the same cookie cutter format across everything they ever did, whether it be the Roswell stuff, the Scorpion King, Men in Black, Buffy, Angel, all Inkworks licensing. So it's just basically a base set, usually be a 72 card set or a 90 card set, a 9 card puzzle set that you put together, made a puzzle out of it. So yeah, and then you had a 6 card, most times, sometimes a 9 card, but mostly a 6 card, you know, chase set of something that featured from that set, and maybe a 1 or 2 card case hit type card. And that was it.
Gotcha.
But then you have sprinkled in, every box would have an autograph or a memorabilia, or an autograph and a memorabilia, or no autographs, just memorabilia in every box. And so that was just the same format that Inkworks do all the time. Rittenhouse would turn around and they had the Star Trek license, James Bond license. They would put like, you know, 4 hits per box, 3 hits per box, 5 hits per box. And they would put out like, oh, you could find, they call it, what are they would have a name for their, like every few cases, or be like, it's called an archive box, which would be like, had basically all the autographs in one box. It
was like a real high end type thing.
No, it was randomly inserted in a case.
Oh, I gotcha.
So you'd buy like a normal box of, say, like, let's just say there was I think they did one for either Twilight Zone, or they had the Outer Limits license. Might have been, I know they did it for Xena one time. They did it for Xena license. So they just basically you have a 12 box case or a 10 box case, whatever it was, and you wouldn't know. You'd open your box, and that box, which I thought was stupid, they shouldn't have labeled the box, because now it's like you open the case, like, there it is, you could see it, you know. They should have just made it so you opened it up and it's like, oh my god, every pack has got autographs in it. It's like that.
Right. Yeah.
But it was labeled some kind of special box, like wrapped. They go archive edition, or it's an archive box, just like that. And you got basically a master set almost in one box.
Interesting.
And it's just it was unique and cool to do. But guys, you know, distributors would go out there and then case break, yank that out, put another box in there, re-still it's like that, and sell you the case.
Of
so
course.
It's just they shouldn't have done that. But yeah, I mean, non-sport guys, I think your non-sport people who collect Marvel, who collect James Bond and see Batista and something like that, are going to be like, that's how they know them.
Do you see any of them maybe coming over to wrestling just specifically to pick up a Batista card here or there? Like,
I wish that would be great if they did. It would be, I guess you have to talk to a Marvel fan or a James Bond fan to find out.
That's what I was like. I know you have some experience with the non-sport, so I didn't know, do they do much crossover with sports or whatever?
Well, I guess I'm a living example of that. I did.
Yeah, I love crossover stuff.
I did. I mean, I wasn't exclusively wrestling. I mean, before there was WTC, there was Com Collect, and Com Collect, its logo was a 4-card spread on the front. You click on each one of those cards. Each one of those cards was its own little link. You can click on it. And it fanned out, and it had Playboy, Buffy, Star Wars, and wrestling. And that's what I collected. And that's what I did my website on.
I can also speak for the wrestling card community. I mean, they look at some of the weird stuff that people has found, like, you know, sports cards or driver's licenses, or, you know, like one of the big ones was finding, I believe it's Alexa, Charlotte, and Sasha in a Triple H card before they even had cards. Like, so that's one thing that I love about the wrestling card community, is they are down to find the oddball stuff. So if they had a card in a football set or another sport or a non-sport, like, they will accept that as part of that player's collection, as opposed to, you know, some of the more traditionalists, mainly in sports cards, where they're like, okay, it's got to be in this uniform or it doesn't count, you know, blah, blah, blah. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, we have our own debates in our hobby anyways, too, about, you know,
sure,
do we count his original character or this character or that, or blah, 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 food?
Yeah, especially when you start doing the rookie tarp, which we're going to move right on past that.
Yeah, we're going to move right on past that. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some crossing there, I think. obviously I'm a living example of that because, I was into wrestling cards before I ever got into any of the other genres of collecting. So I just expanded my thing, and like I was a Star Wars fan. I collected the Playboy stuff. So I did Playboy stuff. I did, but those things got me in other things. At one time I was just buying all kinds of stuff. I was buying Xena. I was buying Benchwarmers. I was buying, because you'd have wrestling girls that were in Benchwarmers before they were in wrestling. So that's where you can find Candice Michelle cards before she was ever in wrestling. I just got into all kinds of different things, and you start buying out collections, and you get things in your possession. You kind of go, that's kind of a cool. I never even Evil Ernie. What a cool thing from Lady Death. That's freaking awesome. That's, you just kind of gravitate towards things, whatever kind of grabs your eye. So yeah, I totally can see it happening. I see people who do non-sport stuff that can jump into wrestling cards. Absolutely.
I hope so. I'm all for crossover, and the more people we can get into the hobby, the better. So great episode. I love these. This is your card episodes. You guys have spoken too. You seem to like them as well. So
I had an intro. I specifically was gonna do it. I totally forgot to do it for today. I was gonna have
until next time. You got to save it. Don't spoil it.
All right, I'll save it for next one.
Well, maybe we should do like some entrance music, and then Tony sings the entrance music as it's playing.
We want to get more subscribers.
Okay.
We have.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Speaking of subscribers, if you enjoyed the show today, please subscribe. Whatever you're listening to this show is available on all popular podcast platforms. You can also watch the video version down the road. I eventually get it up on my YouTube channel, but the audio, whatever, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, whatever it is you use, it's available. Please subscribe. That helps get the show into more people's ear holes and will help just expand the hobby, because it's what we're all about. That's why we're doing this so late at night, and we just keep doing it. Keep on keeping on. Tony?
Keep on trucking. Yeah.
Ooh, I almost said that, but
yeah.
Let everybody know where they can find you and what you're up to. And quick plug, tell everybody about your shorts. Not the shorts you're wearing.
Well, I'm not
your undershorts. Yeah. Stop it.
WTC shorts is a new endeavor I'm taking on. Like I need more work. And so what I just do is just short little episodes that are strictly audio, so you can listen to them on any of your podcast streaming services. You get them on all the same ones. You can watch and listen to this one actually. And it's just me rambling on about a particular topic. It could be anything. I try to tie it into all wrestling stuff. That's kind of what we're all about, obviously. But, I've done episodes of just like,
the mindset one was really good.
Changing mindsets. New one as of the recording today. New one dropped this morning. And then I have, so every Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. drops for WTC shorts, where just kind of talk some random talks of tying it into wrestling cards of some kind, or the hobby in some way, shape, or form. Usually it's just something that came to my mind that I just wanted to get off my chest, or something I learned, or just sharing some kind of new knowledge that I picked up, and kind of really asking questions of other people. Like every single one of them, I want to hear from people on what they think about what I just talked about. Like, what are your thoughts? Just like we do with these episodes. I want to hear what everybody has to say, what Batista and what your favorite cards are and what you like to see, and what you think are horrible images.
A lot of them.
Oh yeah, exactly. So whatever ones you want to hear, but all that information can be found on WrestlingTradingCards.com. All the links to social media is on there. Everything's there. And on, when you get to the Twitter page, I took a cue from the good old Zan the Man over here, and I created myself a link tree.
It's very helpful.
So it is. So everything's there as well, with even that little donation button there if you want to, for all the stuff we're doing. That's okay. But yeah, just engage with us, man. Just talk some wrestling cards. Let's share our knowledge. Let's help all the new eyeballs and ears coming into this hobby, and let's get them properly educated and introduce them to a wonderful, fun, cool community.
100%. You mentioned social media. You kind of closed out your plugs with that. And as Tony said, what is your favorite Batista card? Let us know. Tag us on social media, DM us, whatever it is. Or, if you just don't want to involve us at all, that's okay too. If it gets you talking about the hobby and getting other people to talk about Batista cards, go for it. That's why we're here. That's why we keep doing all this. As far as my content goes, closing out, check out Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. That's where I originally started doing all of this. Please subscribe to the channel and check out the podcast I do. It's kind of like Tony's shorts, but wait, no, not his shorts or his undershorts. actual short recordings.
That's right. We're not making any event worn material out of
my.
Oh,
that's a good idea.
No.
We'll have to think on that one.
Yeah, keep thinking.
Anyhow, links to everything we've mentioned as far as our YouTube channels, the other podcasts we're involved with, social media links, all of that will be in the show notes of this very show you're listening to. So make sure, hit the pause button, or when you're done listening to this, scroll down on your phone. If you're listening on your phone, click on those links. It really helps us out. It lets you know everything we're up to. We're always working too much, as you said, Tony. And any other parting words before we close out this episode?
Actually, just so another endeavor that I'm working on that it's happening is for the first time in 20 some odd plus years, I got talked into running a convention. So I am a co-owner and promoter of Top Rope Wrestling Con, which you can go to topropecon.com. Or you can go to topropewrestlingcon.com if you want to. It redirects you right to the page. We own all those domain names. But we already have a nice list of talent that are going to be coming, and with many more names being added. As of this recording, we just announced Kevin Nash. We have Brian Pillman Jr., Matt Seidel, Moose, and Heath Slater so far. We have definitely some cool, good names coming up here soon throughout the months. But it's in Tampa, Florida, September 17th at the Florida State Fairgrounds. 55,000 square feet of nothing but wrestling, vendors.
There's going to be some wrestling card representation there.
There will be. You go to the website, definitely go to topropecon.com, check it out. We've got the Card Foundation podcast boys are going to be coming down. They're going to be doing a live broadcast from the show. So but they have other things they're plotting and planning. Don't know what it is. They haven't shared it with me, but it's going to be a fun time. And I got Paul the Price Guide coming in from Canada. He's going to come down and check it out. He actually is going to be a vendor.
Nice.
So
any chance you guys do also you may not have time, but do you think you'd have time to like do some sort of live show there with Paul?
Not for WTC. I won't be able to do anything at all. I'm going to be too busy. I'm gonna have my phone on me at all times, fully charged. I got a portable charger with me to keep it charged going on, but I'm going to be doing anytime I can get an opportunity to film anything, whether it be a live stream on Facebook or Instagram. I'm going to take that opportunity. Trust me, I'm going to do it.
I still say you need to just do video, the whole, like what you just said, and then edit it all together the best you can, throw it on the WTC YouTube page.
I'll do what I can.
I love watching card show videos, and I've seen other people that enjoy it too. So I think a convention mixing a wrestling event with wrestlers and wrestling cards and vendors and everything would be just a really fun experience.
For our show and under our, I know we wanted to get going here. We keep always talking about, I just had this opportunity. I totally forgot to plug it before. Our show, I think we're going to be tapping out at about 12 to 14 talents going to be under basically, our wallet would be responsible for. And then we're going to have vendors who are going to obviously be allowed to bring in talent as well too. So we could have anywhere from 25, 30, 40 wrestlers there. Who knows? I have no idea. I'd love to see that. I want to take things a little bit differently than just your traditional type of wrestling convention.
It's a good idea.
I don't want to have like this, here's all this talent and here's some vendors. That's it. Again, like I said, we have 55,000 square feet. I have it here, but you won't be able to see it. I mean, but I have, for those who are listening, I mean, I have my entire chart right here. I have my floor plan. So I have everything all laid out, how we're going to do it. There'll be a wrestling ring inside there. There'll be chairs around the wrestling ring that will seat up to 200 people. There'll be a live wrestling event on Saturday night after the show is closed. There's going to be Q&As going on inside that wrestling ring throughout the day, both with talent and hopefully with some industry people. Who knows?
That'd be good.
And there are, my goal here really is to be a mixture of, I want to be the wrestling card show. I want to be a little bit of CES, a little bit of E3, a little bit of Comic-Con San Diego. And I know it's not going to happen in year one, but hopefully getting to the point where we have I'll have an Upper Deck or a Panini or a Mattel or a Ringside Collectibles. We'll have I want it to be the destination where people go to on an annual thing, where every year it's the place to go to about all things and licensing that has to do with wrestling. Cards, figures, merchandising, everything. Little mixture here of some vendors, companies, all that kind of stuff.
It's a great concept that no one else that I see is doing right now.
I mean, we have all kinds of conventions, and I've been doing this for 27 years now of conventions, and just kind of taking all of that and kind of trying to put it into one little basket now of a little bit from here, a little bit from here, a little bit from here, and put it all in one basket. So I'm really happy with the people we have so far. I couldn't have asked for a better partner. There's the one guy that I 100% completely trust, that is experienced himself in running his own show for the last 8 years. It has nothing to do with what we're doing, but his experience is invaluable. And just having it there and having someone I know I can trust. And, I built the website, or I put the website together and did this, did that. It's all been coming together. It's been snowballing in a really positive way. So I'm really happy about it. And I can't wait to start sharing more announcements we have.
Yeah, and we'll try to plug it on here as much as we can remember. It's hard to remember everything we got going on, so we do the best we can.
Anybody, listening to this, feel free to go over, drop off, and check out. All the handles are at Top Rope Con for everything, for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's all there, and then the domain name is Top Rope Con. So just go check it out, and all kinds of announcements, man.
Thanks everybody for listening. Again, if you like what we're doing and you'd like to share your support, check out the show notes for links to everything else we're doing. And the easiest thing you can do, and it's free, is hit the subscribe button on whatever platform you are listening to this on. Tag us on social media. Let us know you appreciate it. Once again, let us know what are your favorite Batista cards as the topic suggested today. But until next week, which we will definitely be having another episode next week. What it is, we don't know. Keep collecting and having fun, and keep building the wrestling card community. We'll see you.
Out.